Good morning, good afternoon. It is Sunday, 11/8/2020. Welcome to the State of the Union segment on the Music Combine that we do every Sunday for you, the good people of the Combine Nation. So Greg and I are yammering back. Nation, the Combine Nation. We've been yammering back and forth about this whole, and we've been focusing on Universal because one, they're the biggest music company in the world for starters. Two is that they have a lot going on in what they're going to try to do to either improve the international global model of music or what they'll actually end up doing, for entertainment in general when shows start coming back. Kanye made a flippant remark on Rogan's podcast about how, what was he saying? He was going to buy his masters back, but then he said, well, that's too small of a dream. Why don't I just buy Universal?
So that's kind of like him saying he was like Freddie Mercury or something and tried to sing Queen and couldn't do it.
Well, I mean, I think not even that. I think a lot of artists have tried to do it. Motley Crue's the one I know is the most successful. I believe Metallica's bought their masters back, or maybe they have not, or they're in the process of trying to do so. But I know that's been a thing for a while. You know what?
So you get masters, you don't have rights to your masters, and all of a sudden, you want to buy them back. And how does that? I wonder how.
Yeah, and let's kind of go deep into that for 1 second, because most people probably don't understand the whole concept of master rights.
Master rights. That's what we're talking. Okay.
So when you write a song, there's the physical published work, which is the song, the lyrics, the music, right? Mm-hmm. The master is the physical recording of that work of art. Right. Now, if a label gives you money to go into the studio and record it, they own the master. They don't necessarily own the publishing. Mm-hmm. And what happens is they have the rights to do whatever they want with those masters based upon your permission with the publishing. Right? Mm-hmm. If anything, hey Ross Loudon in Instagram world. But they have the right to basically it's our little friend from Scotland, Ross Loudon. He's awesome. But they have the rights to do whatever they want with the publishing at that point. Mm-hmm. So what they do is it's based upon you giving permission. Now, if the label represents the master and the publishing, they can do whatever they want at that point.
Right. So he's going to try to.
He's not going to try. Okay. This is the problem with this. This is the major problem with this. Major problem with this that I see.
Mm-hmm. But
so it does look like Metallica is trying to buy their masters. I'll look in that in 1 second. But what they're trying to do is basically what he's trying to say is like, I'm going to go buy Universal. There's no way you can do it. Number one, Universal is in the process. Music is in the process of becoming an IPO. Mm-hmm. Two is Tencent, who is the major distributor and buyer from Universal. Okay. Mm-hmm. Has 30% of the company right now. They have an additional 10 that they can grab for have 40% ownership in UMG, which would be a huge deal for UMG because then UMG can go into China with reputable representation, reputable market coming overseas from China, essentially.
Okay.
And into Pan Asia. So you're not going to see Kanye West buying Universal Music Group anytime soon. It's just not going to happen. The wheels are in motion too quickly, and like by January there'll be an IPO more likely being offered in a date set of when it will come to market.
He's just going to have to buy shares in the company.
Or buy shares in the company. I mean, what he could do, that's one thing you could do is, flip it on its head and basically say, I'm going to go ahead and I want to be one of these purchasing first round partners before the IPO.
Right.
And have ownership in it and own some of the shares.
Interesting.
So, I mean, he could do that. He has the money, he could do it. It's billions of dollars or get bankrolled by somebody, like an investment firm saying, oh, well, Kanye West is going to buy this. Let's go in partnership with him on it.
Kanye West.
Kanye West. I'm going to tell you this, though. Not a fan of his at all. Not in the least. I know a lot of the people around him that kind of made his. Well, I know one person in particular. Let's just say that I can really point north towards is a guy named Big John Platt.
Big John Platt.
Who is the president of Sony ATV. And I got to work for John when I was at EMI Music back in the mid 2000s. And, you know, John's a really decent guy. He's made the careers of Jay-Z on the publishing front, Beyonce, you know, Jermaine Dupri, you know, anything hip hop John has done. John's also in his own label. He was the president, I believe, at Warner Chappell for a while as well. He's been in the game for a long time and is probably one of the most reputable CEOs out there.
Okay.
You know, if that was to happen where he was to buy Universal Music, I'm sure John would be involved with that deal at some point. Just because him and Kanye, I know, are kind of tight.
Yeah.
But the thing is that you look at those situations of how music's being distributed. And, you know, I was thinking about it today when you sent me the Damien Keys thing. You know, I saw the Rogan interview. I watched it in its entirety just because you can't look away from a dumpster fire that's a bus crash.
Yeah, want to watch it.
Yeah, everybody wants to watch it. And so I just really am. It's just talk. It's blustery talk. That's all it is for old KW.
K-dubs.
K-dubs.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a smart guy. I mean, he's done a lot of stuff. I mean, I believe he is on paper a billionaire.
I don't doubt it for a second.
Or close to it. I mean, his clothing company, Easy, does really well. I mean, you know, but he also has, I think, a lot of smart people around him.
Well, what does that tell you?
Well, you surround yourself with good people. He has a lot of smart people around him. I mean, the one I know, you know, like I said before, is Big John. I've had experience with is Big John.
Gotcha.
And you just, you know, I don't see that really happening now.
It's a pretty big
to the smaller artists or who we kind of speak to on the show. This is why owning your masters are a huge of importance. So I recently, and you know about this artist, Greg, but we're not going to talk about him yet until it's signed on the dotted line. But Greg and I have a few ventures outside of the podcast where we help people market their businesses, deal with, you know, basically asset management, a lot of different things.
Content creation, asset management.
Yeah.
Assets. Those are things that you're going to use on a regular basis and that you need to create. So that's what they're called when, you know, the technical term is asset, because you're asset to you. They're going to help you.
My eyes.
Yeah.
My eyes. But basically what happens is with this one individual is he was put forth you can buy your way onto playlists now.
Right. Of course.
It's a service. It's a thing you can do, which, you know, is kind of like buying your way onto radio almost.
Yeah. It's a little risky because you don't know if the playlists are really creditable or not, but you can vet them out like anything else.
Sure.
Right?
Totally. 100%. 100%. So what we kind of were discussing with this one client is his mom and dad. He's a minor. So his mom and dad were like, let's just do this. And it was like, they were going to distribute the record through Spotify and they lost all distribution and master rights. And then they were going to take money for licensing because I'm like, they were taking all this money basically out of everything that came down the pike.
Right.
And I was like, this is a bullshit contract. It just was. It was a horrible deal.
And which he's saying is when you have the ability to produce your own music and you don't explore all the possibilities and getting it out there and learning how to do it right where you can actually monetize it, and you're giving everybody else who's possibly going to help you or get a record deal or a management deal or whatever, or they're going to be taking mostly a portion of that when they don't really even need to be there in the first place at first, because you're not at the level that they need to you really need to be doing that anyway. So it's really important that you actually do what you're supposed to do with the actual recordings you have and really drive traffic to them and learn how to do that through ways of creating Facebook ads, Spotify ads, or Facebook ads that lead to Spotify plays, right? And using social media as the engine to drive more of your right fan base to your actual platforms. If you just did that, you would you wouldn't lose out on something like Russ the Rapper. He wasn't doing that. He wasn't using it until he was created the leverage where the label Columbia Records came to him and said, "Hey, we're going to give you a deal," and he negotiated that contract on his terms, as opposed to you. Literally, let's just say if you even got this, okay, and if you did, great, I'm happy for you. But in the grand scheme of things, highly unlikely. $1 million record label contract, you're going to keep possibly maybe $200,000 to $300,000 of that right off the bat, like taxes, and then your management, and
if you're lucky,
because you already hired a team or you have people there that are in the pot. There's less for you, and you didn't even look into how to monetize your music yourself, and then all of a sudden you lose out on money that's potentially could be huge for you because you didn't take the initiative to learn how to do it. Now, if you want to do that, I have nothing against that, but that's what we're talking about here. So the client we're talking to, he's a younger kid, and he's a good kid, and he's a good musician. It's just that the parents are trying to help him do the right thing. But if you don't do the right things at first, you're setting yourself up for failure. Is basically what I'm saying.
No, most definitely. And the thing is back to that point, is that if you let everything go, and I think also too, people find themselves in a very disparate situation, like you said, Greg. They don't review every avenue open to them to monetize. And so what ends up happening is you end up selling the farm inadvertently.
There you go. And that tied in very well to what our next segment is going to be about. And actually, if you want to tap into that more, Mike, you're more than welcome to.
No. It's pretty much it. I mean, we had, it's the funny part, guys, is this week we had a really hard time finding articles because everything was revolved around Biden's win yesterday.
Right. So
it was like John Legend's throwing a party in Hollywood. This person did a song. This is how they reacted. And it was nothing to do with the combine. And I think Greg's in the same boat with this. I want to stay away from all political things possible. I respect you because I think it's the most lowest resonating shit in the world.
It's not a good vibe. It's at the end of the day, we're in charge of our destinies, not somebody else. And let me tell you something else. They're puppets too. They can only do so much. Outside of that, let's pay attention to what's in our backyard.
Yep, bingo, done. No more.
So other article that you sent me was very interesting, actually.
Oh, about Record Store Day.
Record Store Day. So
they did it over several months, it looks like. I didn't realize that was the case going on. I mean, I have a local record shop here in
Cali.
Most Fleas I go to. That's pretty awesome.
I don't know about you. What would you like? Do you remember? I don't think kids these days understand like the
trip to the record store is
a big deal.
For me, it was like Tuesdays when records used to come out was the day. And it was New Tuesday, dude. And you knew what the date was. It was always, it was 3 weeks, 4 weeks in the month, 3 Tuesdays, 4 Tuesdays in a month, depending on the month.
Yeah.
And, if it was like, I remember that summer of like 91 of like, you had Van Halen's For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge come out, Skid Row's Slave to the Grind.
How old were you then?
11th grade, 12th grade, something like that. I was young.
I mean, that's so cool. I just remember going to the record store and it was like an escape for me. And it was like, I can listen to things that I never listened to before where my parents weren't there to, basically they didn't really know about any music anyway. But like I learned about heavy metal from kids at school. Then I went to the record store, found those records. You can actually sample them.
Which record store did you go to when you were?
Tower Records and Sam Goody. Those were two big ones. And
so you never went to Ramsey Books and Records or?
No, not Ramsey Books and Records, but there was
time.
One called, it's a really pretty famous one it was in Elmwood Park. It was like record something, whatever. It was Music Connection.
Music Connection, sure.
Music Connection.
There was always vintage vinyl.
Vintage vinyl? Fuck yeah, dude. That was in Bloomfield, right? Or Montvale?
No, it was all the way down like by Brunswick. But the only time I had gone to vintage,
right.
The only time I had gone to vintage vinyl was when Nothing Face was on the Pantera tour.
Yeah, and they played there in between there?
Yeah, they played the day before the Hammerstein shows.
They don't have a sound system in there, do they?
No, but the best part is this is a great story about that record store, about that show, about that little in-store show.
Sure.
They come in and Matt comes out and goes, fuck this. We're going to treat this like band practice. And they did. It was everybody loved it.
Nice. So it
was that much of a shit show. It was just like, boom. It was like,
Well, Rage Against the Machine, when they first came out with their, this is what bands used to do, guys. Like when there was record stores, they the local scene was supported by the record store.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
wherever
there's before you get on that point about Rage Against the Machine, there's one here in LA that's closing called Amoeba, which is world famous.
maybe that was
They probably was Amoeba. They still to this day do the in-store performance.
it's so cool.
I mean, probably not right now, but they were doing them. You know,
It's just FYI was a store that's been around for the most part during even post all the record stores closing.
FYE, you mean?
FYE, excuse me.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's great and all. It's just there was such a real electricity in the air when an album came out and a band came through and then did their like show at the record store and you could go see them and like get your album signed. It was like such a big deal. It wasn't like you have to go to a venue. It was the town record store, and it was like, I'm going to my town record store and I'm going to go see so and so band. I mean, like vintage vinyl is like definitely one of them, and I know they never sounded great in there, but like again, Rage Against the Machine is a great example. When they came out with the self-title,
yeah,
which was my favorite. They played the record store. That place was fucking packed, dude, and it was raw as it gets. And let me tell you something. You want to talk about awesome players? They sounded probably just as good in that store as they do on their record without the quality of the
okay. And that goes to a point. Like everyone thinks you need gear.
No, man, they had like nothing. The drummer had like one broken.
I will tell you this: head, hands, heart, hands. Like if you can use that chain of events in your body to produce music, you'll be okay.
And how do you mean by that? You're saying your head,
think about it,
and your hands. I get
your heart to do it, and use your hands to perform it.
Right. That makes sense to all.
Or your mouth if you're, woodwind instrument player. But
yeah, we'll just say hands at this point because
hands,
stuff. The instruments in a band. Very cool though. I mean, coming back down to where things were to where they are now. There is that missing element, and it's fucking sad, man. How do you get that? How do you get that back? So like, especially what's going on right now out there. So if you guys have any ideas, and it's like, how do you get that old school, vibe back? Tell me, please, because I'd love to know. So what that was just like an homage to record stores. This article.
Yeah, so it was homage to record stores, but also they had sold somewhere in the ballpark in those 3 different months of like $1.26 million in merchandise for independent stores.
Oh, so the campaign behind this did that?
You know what Record Store Day is? Like once a year, people go to the record store, and I think they're either like a non-for-profit or something like that, but it's just preserve.
That's awesome.
The old school record store and going shopping for vinyl and stuff like that. And being that vinyl is absolutely on the rise, a lot of people buy it.
And why is that, you think?
Dude, I have pieces of vinyl, but no turntable in my house.
So here's the thing. Let me get to that point. So the fact that you just said that is perfect. And that's a lot of people, by the way. Yeah. And they get the vinyl because it's part of an experience. Nostalgia. And they like the art and this nostalgia and the experience of having that. I mean, I remember being little and my dad showing me his records and like we're going through them. We're not even listening to them because we didn't have a record player either. Yeah. So it was like, this is like Creedence Clearwater Revival. Here's the Doors, and he's like showing me the inlet and everything.
What's great now is like I just saw Bron Daler from Mastodon.
Yeah,
he got the Paranoid box set. Black Sabbath just came out with the Paranoid box set.
Oh, Black Sabbath did? No shit.
Yeah, and he literally went through he's like, look at the bifolds, a tri bifold, or a quad bifold. Like there was all these different things, and it's like now you have these collectors who are really like specific about their
my bass player's like that. He loves a lot of people are. He gets like the record and like you go over his house and you have a couple drinks and then he'll be like, yo, check out my record collection. He'll go through the artwork and he'll be like, look at this artwork. And I'm like, dude, you're right.
Dude, I'll be honest with you. Like when I was a kid, I knew everybody on every record, every liner note.
Yeah.
It was. And you don't have that anymore with Spotify and everything else. So I think it's good that we're preserving this bespoke kind of, medium to, kind of give everybody a chance to,
get the really tangible product.
Tangible product and experience music in a different way.
Sure. I mean, I just remember the Metallica box set, like Live Shit and Bind and Purge,
and Purge, which is sitting right in my closet over here.
Fucking dude, those tapes are amazing.
I saw 3 dates of that tour.
And let's just take Metallica for example. And guys, we're not saying you have to be the next Metallica. I'm just taking we're taking the point of this. Create these kind of things that keep you exclusive to anything else that's happening for everybody else, because it just segments you off from everybody. And segmenting means, I'm not saying you don't know what segmenting means, but it keeps you fresh in the eyes of your saturated market. And that's what Metallica really was really good at. I mean, when they come out with these box sets, it's like,
okay. By the way, just to stop you for 1 second, I did, as you were saying that, I pulled up the article.
You were looking at,
the band gained control over the masters in 2000. So it was in 2012, Metallica actually gained rights to all their masters from Elektra.
They did gain rights.
They did gain all the rights to their masters. I knew they had done something like that. The only other band like that is Motley Crue that I know of has done it in recent times.
And that's probably changed the financial game for them long term.
Oh, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, 100%.
Jeez.
Motley Incorporated, dude. Fucking that split 4 ways with those guys.
Talk about a band that like had definitely didn't have their shit together at all, and then they just party all the time. And like,
I mean, what band doesn't?
Right. Well, I mean, that's great that they're on top of their shit, though. You know, they were just fucking enjoying the ride, man.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch Dirt?
The movie? I read the book. I thought the movie was kind of Disneyland, to be honest with you.
It's still good because it's every story.
Have you read the book?
No, I haven't.
Read the book, dude. Like,
I mean, I watched Behind the Music on Motley Crue, and it was them talking. And
the book goes far deeper than Behind the Music.
I mean, the first scene in that movie is just ridiculous. I can't even.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
They were hitting everything but the lottery at that time, man.
Oh my God, dude. They're just the debauchery.
Debauchery. It's so funny. McMars is like the oldest member of that group and was like the most sane.
Yeah, right. Well, he's like Vince with Judd Nelson and Airheads. Vince Neil killed a man and only did 3 days.
It was 30 days.
30 days. Was it 3 days? Yeah. Ever since you signed this contract, you've been on the umbrella of Palatine Records.
Palatine Records.
Well, it's fucking great. I ain't farting
that's
on
that's one of those movies where the soundtrack is better than the movie.
I love the movie and I love the soundtrack. I just hated that they didn't have to play live when they were supposed to play live. They were going to do a video shoot. But look, I learned that too. I thought people were actually playing in a music video when I was a kid. But no, you're not really playing. You're actually playing to a song.
American Bandstand was like that too.
It was, huh?
Yeah. They who was it that I was talking to the other day? That was it. Dwayne, my buddy Dwayne, who was in Pulp Fiction. That dude I was telling you.
Oh,
about.
Right.
We were talking about American Bandstand. I forget who the band we were talking about. It was either Nugent or like, I think it might have been Ted Nugent in the 70s or like Black Oak, Arkansas. One of those bands, or Van Halen or someone like that. But anyway, they played. They didn't actually play. It was all lip synced.
Right.
And you saw that when Beastie Boys went on. If you ever can find the clip of it, Beastie Boys. I remember watching it live as a kid. Beastie Boys were on American Bandstand and they were doing Fight for Your Right to Party. So it was around that time of License to Ill.
Mm-hmm. Great.
And basically what they did was they just destroyed the fucking set.
So they did with Airhead.
Fuck you.
I'm off doing this. You got to do what you got to do sometime.
Yeah.
You want to go against the establishment, that's up to you.
Establishments.
But, you want to get a good video, that's the way you usually have to do it. Doesn't mean you're like doing something like selling out or anything like that. So I think we covered some good topics. I kind of wanted to round it out with this week. If we are going to put out the interview with our friends at RS.
Red Star. We're putting out the interview with Red Star this week.
Great band that's coming out. They're a culmination of other really, really good bands. You know what happens when bands get together after being in other bands and they haven't been successful and they kind of find like-minded other people in other bands and it like just forms better bands. Yep. That's what this band is. And we're pretty excited about it because they have a new song called Shut the Fuck Up, right? What was it called?
Yeah, STFU.
It's really good. It's fucking.
Which isn't out yet, by the way, and probably won't be by the time of the interview, but we want to get you guys this interview because it was really good. And then the following, I think we're going to put out Mark from Sons of Texas came on the show and he really did an awesome interview with us. And then we have our friends, Jeff Udibor and Tyler Lazary from Live Nation and Apple Music, who also were amazing.
Yep.
So got a lot of great stuff coming through, man. It's gonna be
We have
awesome.
more than that too, I think. But
And then look out for the week of Thanksgiving. We're gonna be having a
we're gonna have a collage of
yeah, we're gonna do the best of episode with all of our best episode clips from all of our best episodes. So that'll be coming to you about 2-3 weeks. So.
Nice. Well, listen, if you guys have any questions or anything, you guys are.
And then also can't forget
us.
Ray Mayorga came by this week.
That's right. So
talk to us.
Big,
and I'm figuring out when we're going to put that episode out, but it was an awesome time. Roy's a dear friend, great guy, amazing musician, and he's everything that we represent here. So I can't wait to actually show you guys that.
Stand-up guy, man. Stand-up guy.
Yeah.
Just one of my favorite drummers growing up. I mean, straight up, like I'll just say it. There's nothing here. So you guys have any questions, any suggestions, guests that you think would be good for the show? We'd be happy to reach out to them. 1, 2, any questions regarding what you're doing and, commenting on what we're talking about and subjects that may be more relevant to you that we think that we're covering that maybe we should be covering that we don't know about. So let us know. Otherwise, go
to the website, musiccombinenow.com. And put your questions up there. Send us a link, send us an email, talk to us. We're more than happy to talk to you back. We've been doing that this week already. So
and take action, man. If you're out there right now listening, like take fucking action. Put something up. Get your music out there. Put it on fucking. We're gonna go over this too at some point. Like DistroKid, TuneCore, those two outlets.
I think we should do an episode where we go over
how to do
an artist experience, and I think that. Maybe in December we'll do that. Maybe I'll interview you, Greg.
Yeah, because I've had to do it myself. And, it's just a matter of like, you can get your shit on anything. It's a matter of what you're doing to drive traffic to it, which I got to do myself. But like, I'm in a band, so my monies can only be allocated so many places. However, if you're not doing that and you have the money to do it and you're not doing anything and you're going to spend it on shit that doesn't matter, start spending on shit that does matter, like your life or in your passion. Passion. Mike.
Yes, sir.
Pleasure.
As always. And we'll see you guys this week and have a great one.
Have a good one, guys. Have a good start.
Peace out.
Peace.